What's going on, y'all? It's your boy No Credit, and I'm back again with another one. I need you guys to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. That being said, let's get into it. So I don't know what to believe anymore. What I mean by that is, when I say I don't know what to believe anymore, I'm literally confused when it comes to these fights. Because I literally just seen people were saying Canelo Alvarez turned down $100 million to fight Terence Crawford. Yeah, that's just what I was hearing. Now on the other hand, some of these same pages are saying Canelo versus Bud is happening, and they're naming all these fighters that are going to be on the undercard. It's like Mexicans versus black, bro. That's what the card looked like. But anyway, Terence Crawford is in camp right now for his fight with Israel Madrimov. Israel Madrimov grew up in the same way like Vasyl Lomachenko grew up. Israel Madrimov has a long, extensive amateur record. In the pros, he only has 11 fights. One being a draw. He's never lost, but he has about 11 fights. And he's going to fight Terence Crawford with only 11 fights. Not a good look on his part. Terence Crawford is not one of those guys you fight when you are very inexperienced at the pro level. But anyway, I still love to see the fight. Terence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. Love to see the fight because Madrimov, he earned this fight by being a champion. You know, he put himself in a position to get one of Charlo's belt. He's a world champion, and he must defend his belt against Terence Crawford. You know, I'm pretty sure these guys at 154 knew Boogeyman Bud Crawford was coming up there eventually. So now they got to duck their tackles because Bud want all the smoke with everybody while Jamel stays in hiding and don't want no smoke with Bud. Honestly, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. How is Terence Crawford coming up to Charlo's division, and Charlo is literally nowhere to be found? He doesn't even post anymore. The last time I seen him post was he posted because of his birthday. He don't talk boxing. He don't respond to nobody. He only posted because of his birthday. He started reposting stuff because everybody was wishing him a happy birthday. Him and his twin. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. These dudes, like, they literally is not, for some reason, they're not taking the sport of boxing seriously. They're wasting their prime years. They're not getting any younger. They're going to get older from now. You know, and I feel like they're not taking full advantage of that. It might affect them going forward, you know. Both Charlos are just throwing away their prime years. Either Al Heyman don't have no money, or these dudes, they just not interested in being great. Look at Terence Crawford, man. The man is 36 years old doing this, sparring guys like this. Lester Martinez, who spars guys like Caleb Plant. He's getting ready for Canelo Alvarez. Look, this is Terence Crawford's top sparring partner, Lester Martinez, an undefeated young fighter who spars guys like Caleb Plant at 168. He's a 168-pounder himself. Terence Crawford is getting ready for Canelo Alvarez. He's getting good work. He's already good, and he's sparring young talents like this. You know, I've heard stories of Terence Crawford not only sparring bigger young talents, he's also sparring heavyweights. We first heard this news from Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said, "I'll be in a gym with Terence Crawford, and I've seen Terence Crawford knock out light heavyweights. I seen him sleep bigger guys, way bigger than me. And I sparred Terence Crawford on a regular. So after I sparred Terence Crawford, I feel like I could fight anybody. Like, my defense keep me in the fight with a guy like Terence Crawford. But when I watch Terence Crawford fight other guys, he's knocking these dudes out. Bigger guys, he's sleeping these dudes. He's hurting these dudes, dropping these dudes, punishing these dudes because he's too strong. Bro, I heard from Terence Crawford's buddy, a guy that grew up with Terence Crawford when they was younger. You know what this guy said? And it's Chucky. You know what he said? From Omaha. He has a food truck. You know what he said this morning? Well, yesterday morning. You know what he said? He said Terence Crawford has walked around. I don't know if he walks around like that all the time, but he says Terence Crawford has walked around 187 pounds. 187 pounds. I mean, when you look at a guy like Terence Crawford and you look at his body frame, you don't think he walks around 180 pounds. But then when you look at Canelo Alvarez, who's fighting at 168 and can get as high as 180, 190, you like, if Canelo can do it, why not Bud? You know, that thought do come in our head, but the fact that Terence Crawford came all the way from 135, a lot of people can't really see it. Anyway, this is the undisputed game. You know what's crazy about this game? This game was promoting Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, and it was promoting Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury fight. And we already got one of those fights. And what's crazy again in the game actually predicted Tyson Fury was going to beat Usyk. The game literally predicted that Tyson Fury was going to knock out Alexander Usyk. It also predicted that Tyson was going to get dropped. He did get dropped, but he didn't knock out Alexander Usyk. In fact, the opposite happened. Alexander Usyk knocked out Tyson Fury. And now the game is saying, if we watch the preview, the game is saying Canelo's going to knock out Terence Crawford. That's not going to be the case. But anyway, this is an interview from Shakur Stevenson with Say Cheese, where Shakur Stevenson talks about Bud. And he talks about Bud being the best fighter he ever got in the ring with. And after sparring Bud, he feels like he's unbeatable. You know, because Bud, he's on another level. And he raises his levels, you know. He says, I've seen Terence Crawford knock out bigger guys. And he spars guys like me, the young up-and-coming fighters, to stay sharp. So, Canelo versus Crawford, if these rumors are true, is great for the sport of boxing. Terence Crawford wants to cement his legacy as a 5-division world champion because he's about to already be a world champion when he fights Israel Madrimov. After he knocks out Madrimov, the Canelo fight is right there waiting for him. So his first task, first thing first, get past Israel Madrimov, become a 4th-division world champion, and then go for undisputed at 168 with Canelo Alvarez. As long as the IBF don't mess up those plans, like Turkey Al-Sheikh said, he sent a strong message. He said, I'm telling you people, don't come in between of me trying to don't block this fight. He said, I want this fight. When the Arabs want to fight, they get it. He said, I want this fight. Turkey Al-Sheikh is persistent on trying to make this Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight. And it looked like we're getting a glimmer of hope. You know, everybody's posting a rumor of the fight actually being signed. All Terence Crawford has to do is get past his next opponent, and he gets to fight Canelo at the end of the year, if not early next year. If Canelo Alvarez is game and he really wants to fight a guy like Terence Crawford, which I think is retarded. The reason why I say that's retarded is because Terence Crawford is all wrong for Canelo Alvarez's style of fighting. His style of fighting is not the style of fighting that you use to beat somebody like a Terence Crawford. You know, in the sport of boxing, we always say styles make fights. You cannot beat Terence Crawford trying to outbox him or out-jab him or outsmart him. He has the highest IQ in the sport of boxing. Next to like the Alexander Usyks and Dmitry Bivol of the world. We got to put Bud at number one when it comes to IQ. It's definitely not Canelo. His IQ is pretty good too, but not on that type. His IQ is pretty good too, but it's not on that type of level. And I feel as though his style, he's not going to change his style up. He's a Mexican, but he doesn't fight like a Mexican. He fights like a slick black fighter. Let's be real. Canelo Alvarez fights like a slick black fighter, but a slower version because he doesn't have the footwork to move like one. You need the footwork. And because he lacks that footwork, it takes a lot from his game. It takes a lot from Canelo Alvarez's game. You know, so how do I see a fight with Canelo and Terence Crawford playing out? I think Crawford's speed will be the difference. Not just the IQ. I'm talking about the actual fight. Like, you'll notice, because some people, they watch boxing, they can't tell when a fighter is setting traps, changing his levels, shifting his weight, using angles, lateral movement. They be so confused, like they watching that stuff or using their jab as a rangefinder. Some people be so confused, like, what is this guy doing? Why he's not trying to land the jab? The whole time he's using that hand to set up an attack. Or he's trying to gauge the distance on how far he believes you are to be able to land his combination punches. And Terence Crawford excel in that. We watch how Bud changes his levels. We watch how Bud moves his head off the center line. We watch how Bud give you different looks, give you angles, give you some lateral movement. He also fights sometimes like a pressure fighter. When he has you hurt, he has the killer instinct to go out there and let it all out, trying to get you out of there, but not completely waste everything in the tank. If he has to go get you, he'll go get you. He'll put up the earmuffs and go walk you down. We've seen him do that against Victor Postol, round 12. He started walking Victor Postol down, and Victor Postol was shocked, like, why didn't you do this all fight? Because if he would have did that all fight, he would have probably stopped you. Honestly, I feel like if Bud would have walked Postol down, which is not really the smart game plan because you don't want to risk getting caught. So what he did against Postol was a great fight. But I'm saying, in the middle to late rounds, if he would have walked Postol down, he could have stopped him. You know, Postol is another guy at 140 that was huge. He's like 5'11", bro. 5'11". He was huge when Terence Crawford fought him. Terence Crawford beat him, dropped him multiple times. Won an easy unanimous decision in his first pay-per-view. I mean, Terence Crawford can fight how he fought Victor Postol. The reason why I mention that fight is because how Terence Crawford fought Victor Postol, he could literally fight like that against Canelo Alvarez. He could literally fight like that. Y'all go back and watch the Terence Crawford versus Victor Postol fight. How he fought. The speed was the difference. The speed was the difference in that fight. The speed was just, you could literally see the difference in hand speed. Terence Crawford could hit Victor Postol at will, and Victor Postol couldn't hit him. I mean, it was almost embarrassing. And I don't want the Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight to be embarrassing because as a boxing fan, I want to see a good fight. I really do. I want to see Canelo actually try to win and put up a fight. But what I don't want to see is Canelo playing into Terence Crawford's hand, fighting that guy's fight, trying to outbox the better boxer. Once Canelo realizes he's not the better boxer and his chance of winning is to try to walk Terence Crawford down, eat some shots and try to walk him down, walking behind his jab, then he'll realize that's the only chance he has. But knowing Canelo, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. He's going to think he can outbox this guy. He's going to say, I want to test my skills against the so-called best fighter in the world. And that's going to be his downfall. Bud is going to bully Canelo in there. And Bud is going to bully Canelo in there. He may end up stopping Canelo, doing something that nobody has ever done. We've seen Canelo wobble at 147, but we've never seen Canelo seriously knees buckle and hurt where they waved the fight off. But Crawford has the opportunity to do something that's never been done before. Nobody thought Sean Porter would have got stopped. And Sean Porter started his career at 168 and came down in weight. Completely opposite from Canelo Alvarez, who started his career at 140. Do you see the difference? Canelo started from 140, went up to 168, 175. Sean Porter actually started at 168 and came down, and Terence Crawford stopped him. So Terence Crawford was able to stop a guy who was like a naturally 168-pound fighter, just didn't have the height for it. He had to cut all that weight and come down, to compete with the smaller guys and Sean Porter. Earl Spence did the same thing. A lot of these guys do it. But anyway, Terence Crawford has the chance to become the first guy to stop Canelo Alvarez. He may not knock him out cold, but he could stop him via TKO, hurt him, hit him with too many clean shots because the hand speed will be too apparent, and it'll lead to a TKO. It is what it is. Like I said, Canelo Alvarez's style of fighting is not the style that's going to beat a guy like Terence Crawford. Unless he neglect what he already does in the ring and does something else. Come with a different game plan. Because if he fights how he's been fighting, he's going to lose. He's definitely going to lose. His best chance is to go behind a smart, educated jab and try to bully the little guy and walk through his shots. Because if he doesn't do that, he can't outbox Bud. So it's a lose-lose situation for Canelo. It's a lose-lose situation. I just see Terence Crawford showing us, because I remember Terence Crawford going on a Joe Rogan show, and he was like, what would they say? What would they say? The small guy moving up all of these weight classes to beat the best fighter at 168 and one of the greatest fighters to ever fight in Canelo Alvarez. What would they say if I could pull something like that off? We'll say you top 3, one of the greatest fighters of all time. You deserve to put your name up there with all of the Mount Rushmores of the sport. To be able to do something like that is practically unheard of. But anyway, it's your boy No Credit, and I'm out.